this a sacrifice to Odin. Good morning and welcome from Broomhead Moor. I'm out with Simon again today. We are going to an area I've been to a couple of times before. There are a couple of videos already on the channel for this area. It's somewhere I've kind of found last year and did a couple of visits last year. Back again today because there's a couple of things I haven't checked out before that I want to check out, but also I wanted to show Simon, and it is such an amazing place and an amazing area. It is definitely somewhere I've been wanting to come back and revisit. But this moorland, I've just been telling Simon, this moorland is steeped in history. There is the remnants of a stone circle over there. There are all kinds of barrows, and there's an ancient ditch along here as well. There's a lot of history. Check out my earlier videos if you're interested in that. It's an absolutely gorgeous day. It's already getting quite warm. It's not even 9 o'clock yet. Down there is Ewden Beck, which is the focus of today's walk. So there is a ditch over there, an ancient ditch, and there are the remnants of burial cairns over there as well. Over on this side, we're not that far away from Pikelow, which is I think it's Bronze Age burial cairn. I do have a video on the channel of me going to Pikelow. So it really is an area steeped in history. There's a lot of Viking history here as well. We may possibly check that out later. Don't know yet. The lower section of Ewden Beck looks like a proper valley, but the upper section here looks more like a traditional clough. And here we have the old shooting lodge. This is at least a couple of 100 years old. It's still in use. It's all locked up. Look at the views. That's where we're headed. So you can't get inside and you can't look through the windows, but you can view this bit. We've just stopped here at the shooting lodge for a break. Right in front of the shooting lodge is a side head beck that goes down to Ewden Beck. That's what I came up last time I was here. I walked down Ewden Beck to the bottom of side head beck and came up that way. That was a lot tougher at the bottom than I was expecting. But just up ahead, the next kind of side stream that goes down to Ewden Beck, that's Oaken Clough, and that in itself is quite an amazing spot, and that's the route we're going to take to go down into Ewden Beck. Just coming up to Oaken Clough now, which is the clough we're going to follow down to Ewden Beck. Oaken Clough is in itself really pretty towards the bottom, but there is also a little bridge just up here which the footpath crosses over, and that's quite a pretty spot as well. So we'll go up to the bridge before we make our way down. Just coming into the wooded section towards the bottom of Birchen Clough. When I first came here, there was a lot of moss hanging off the trees. It was really quite magical. It was like an enchanted forest. The second time I came, a lot of the moss had gone. And I'm not sure, but I don't think there's going to be that much moss today, just because it's been so dry recently. Again, it does look better when there's more water flowing. It's been very, very dry. In fact, it's not rained for a few weeks, although that's all set to change in a couple of days' time. It still is very pretty, even with less water flowing, but people have been here. I'm not entirely sure what that's for. It's like something out of a fairy tale. All this green here is not grass, it's moss, blanket moss, and luckily today it's pretty dry, but in the past when I've been here, you've had to be very careful where you put your feet.
I'm sort of half tempted. I'm not quite sure what the best way to...
Simon has decided he wants to try and get to that rock shelter. I don't think it's very deep, but it's definitely a rock shelter. It could be very, very old. Just filming Simon's descent for the moment, where we have to call mountain rescue. You're pretty much at the bottom now, Simon, but that's normally where you fall over, so be careful. This here is the biggest waterfall on Birchen Clough, and you know what, there's more water flowing than I expected here. So we're just coming to the bottom. Birchen Clough is just there. We've just come down. We are now in Ewden Beck. What do you think, Simon?
Yeah, it's amazing. Just watching the butterflies across there, not sure what they are. White ones with some description.
So I have seen mountain hares here, and I suspect there are deer here, but I've never seen them. Today it's very beautiful and very peaceful, and there's no one here. But in the past, I think this brook would have been fought over, and it would have represented the boundary between different territories. This very old track that Simon's going up is something I discovered last time I was here. Over there is Birchen Clough. We've just come up the side of Ewden Beck Valley. There's the shooting lodge. Look at these pretty views. The view across to Birchen Clough, where we've just come down. So we're going up this way. We are probably going to have to turn back and pretty much retrace our steps. But we're going up here because there's a good lunch spot. And it's a pretty cool spot to show Simon anyway. Just over here is Gallows Rocher. And this, along with Ewden Rocher, which is further along this way, is less distinct Ewden Rocher. This is very distinct. It's like a partial rock slide or something. But according to one of the books I have, these spots were used by the Vikings as places of human sacrifice to the Norse gods. So here we are, Gallows Rocher, the place of sacrifice to Odin and the other Norse gods. You may not see Simon in the rest of the video from this point onwards. Ewden Beck is extremely overgrown, and it's really difficult to walk along it at some sections. Actually, for most of it, it's quite difficult to walk along it. So we walked along the top side of the valley, and here we've got a side clough coming in. Pretty small little waterfalls, not even waterfalls, more cascades, but very pretty. Got a little distance to go before we get to our lunch spot. Just over there we've got the foxstones. Looks like there's been a bit of heather burn off there. Probably controlled, I would say. Here we've got a nice rock outcrop right on the side of the valley. just up here there's a reasonably big waterfall with a path going over the top, and I believe that's somewhere where they used to wash the sheep. So I've been there a couple of times before, but I've never walked along this section. So we'll get to the waterfall by following it up, following the beck up, rather than coming down on the path. I've not been on this section before, it's just a little bit further down than where I was last time. But there's this metal object, I don't know what it is. And then we've got this girder as well. It looks very, very old. No idea what it would have been. What we do know is this is an old sheepfold, or a sheep wash spot. It's called Sheepfold Flat or something like that. I'll put it on the screen what it's called, just below the waterfall up ahead. We know that they used to wash sheep here, but I've no idea what this would have been for. This is Washfold Flat. I believe it's where they would have washed the sheep in the stream. Nice little waterfall there with a path that literally goes across the top of it. Although again, not much water flowing today, but still very pretty in the sunshine. We're gonna stop for lunch right here. Here is another bit of the metal, another bit of metal girder. I've already looked on the old maps and I can't find anything that might explain what that is. So if you do know, please put it in the comments. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just follow the side of the valley back along, same way that we just came, but we'll go beyond Birch and Clough, and there's a few things I want to check out beyond there. So just below the Fox Stones. Last time I was here I did go up to the Fox Stones, you can check out that video. But yeah, very recently, by the looks of it, someone's done a burn here. I'm guessing it's a controlled burn, but it goes right up to the Fox Stones. They're a bit singed in places. That rock there is the thumbnail for my Fox Stones video. Interesting. A wooden container. Not sure what this would have been. It would have been a very, very small cabin. So I think more likely a grouse butt. It's a bit odd. So we're making our way. It's quite tough going. There's no path, there's just sheep trods, but we are making our way over here. Now, on the other side of Ewden Beck, the access land keeps going all the way to the road. On this side, it does stop short of the road, but where we're headed for is still on the access land. Right, this is what we've been looking for. It's been a bit of a trudge to get to this. Hopefully it's going to be worth it. Oh, it's got something on there. 1808. Can't read what it says. I know this is called Park Coat, so I don't know if that's what it says above it. Seems to have some kind of a mason's mark or something here. Looks like a, don't know, but you can clearly see the date, 1808. I might take some photos and see if I can edit the photos to make it any clearer. So this is called Park Coat. Not entirely sure what it was. Could have been a dovecote or something like that. It's on the oldest maps, but the oldest maps don't go back that far, and the inscription above the door gives the age of as 1808, so it's well over 200 years old.
Yeah, it's got the dates on it.
So we have now kind of turned around because you can't go much further before you reach the end of the access land. So we've turned around and headed back down in the direction of Ewden Beck, because we are going to have to cross the beck at some point. Last time I did cross over there and it wasn't great, but the alternative is to see if there's somewhere earlier we can cross, or go all the way back to Birchen Clough, which is also not particularly great. So we'll just see what we can see. So we have decided that we're going to do what I did last time I was here, even though I pretty much said I wouldn't do that again. It's just, there doesn't seem to be a viable alternative this way, and the only alternative would be to keep going up to Birchen Clough, which in its own way is going to be tough and tiring, so we may as well just do this. So let's give it a go. Made it down. I don't know how steep that looks on the video, but it's quite steep. This is the bottom of Side Head Beck, the clough that goes up to the shooting lodge. That's where I went up last time, up the side of that. That's difficult. This is the same spot where I was in June last year, and it really it doesn't look like it's changed at all. I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out that no one has been here since then. The big difference is there's a lot less water flowing. So this here is literally the bottom of the clough that goes down from the shooting lodge, and it's that I went up last time. I ended up going slightly around on this side, but it wasn't easy, and it was a bit scary in places. So we might try and get up over there. Might be a bit easier, and then once we're up, cut across. Just been sat here for about 15 minutes. It is so peaceful. No one around, no sounds apart from the water and the bird song. Just delightful. A little frog. So Sidehead Beck is just there. Last time I went up that way, it was a bit iffy. I didn't really enjoy it. We're going to try this. It's also incredibly steep, but at least there's no big drops, I don't think. Oh. So that was better than last time, but not by much. But made it. Here's where the Peak District Panther has made a kill. That's where we just were. Well, I say just, about an hour ago now, probably. So we are off-piste, very soon to intersect with the track that we took this morning. Back of the track. Just stop here for a 5-minute break. Well, we're just coming to the end of the walk now. It wasn't a particularly long one today. I enjoyed it. It was really nice to be back at some of my favourite discovery locations from last year. Birchen Clough, Ewden Beck. Both of them are looking incredible. It was good to take Simon as well, and also I enjoyed checking out that ruin. Simon, what did you think to today's walk?
Yeah, it was very good. Really nice waterfalls and valleys we saw. My high point would have to be the emperor moth that came to the lure in my pocket. Sadly we didn't get a photo of it, but there does look like there's one hovering around now as well, actually, so that might be updated.
I think I'm capturing it on video. Oh, it's flitting around all over the place.
There's two.
Where's the other one?
Stand here for long enough.
Oh, there's one there. There's one there by your pole. I'm still filming. I might have to do a bit of an editing job on it. So there you can see Simon was after seeing some emperor moths. Is it your first time to see an emperor moth, Simon?
Yeah, I mean I've used it's a pheromone lure. I've used it in the garden a few times at home. Not had anything there. There's probably not any in the area. So yeah, that's definitely the first time I've seen them. So at least I know the lure does work as well. So it's worth the money.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.